2017 is very important to Seattle because that's the year we're going to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Lake Washington Ship Canal and also the Chittenden Locks. Surely it's important to express memory of really important moments in the city history, and the building the canal was one of the big ones.
One thing people forget is that when the settlers came to Seattle, they didn't come in covered wagons, really. They came by boat. The marine transportation was the transportation of the time. And so having this canal really helped build Seattle 100 years ago. Seattle would not have been able to thrive the way it has if we didn't have the canal.
The canal is really at the heart of Seattle. It's something that we cross over, maybe even use all the time, but I don't think we often stop to think about how important it is to the city, to its economy, to who we are as Seattleites. And hopefully with the commemoration, we will have a chance to acknowledge that and learn more about it. The canal idea starts in 1854 with Thomas Mercer and this idea of connecting Lake Washington, Lake Union, and Puget Sound. The first person to sort of attack it was a man named Harvey Pike, who used nothing more than a couple shovels and a wheelbarrow. They build a few small canals for the next 6 decades. Nothing succeeds until you get the military involved, and we have a person in place, Hiram M. Chittenden, who can drive this whole process and make it come to fruition. The building of the canal starts in September of 1911 and takes 5 years. They have the grand opening July 4th of 1917, and it's described in the newspapers as one of the greatest events in the history of Seattle. It was a major engineering feat. It altered the ecology, it altered the economy, and we still benefit from that building of it every single day.
The Lake Washington Ship Canal and the Hiram and Chittenden Locks are operated and managed by the Corps of Engineers. The locks allow navigation from Lake Washington to Lake Union, to the Puget Sound, to the Pacific Ocean, to any seaport in the world. And that allows for a great variety of commercial activities, but also recreational activities.
Tie down your lines, please.
We're one of the busiest locks and dams in the world because of how many vessels that pass through here. We'll put through factory trawlers, coastal freighters, fish boats, every type of military, and pleasure boats of every size and make that you can imagine, right down to kayaks.
There were a lot of positive results from building the ship canal, but there were also some negative effects too. Industry came into the region that had an environmental consequence, and Native people lost access to resources that they needed, and places that are important to them were disrupted or destroyed. And so as we're marking the centennial, we'll be looking at both sides of that and weighing the relationship to each other and how those choices were made. In August of 2016, we will be starting a full year of events and programs to commemorate the opening of the Lake Washington Ship Canal. And it's exciting because people are looking at it from all different directions. Those will range from a book that David Williams and I are working on for HistoryLink. There is a competition for folk songs to be written about the Ship Canal and its history. There will be tours, projects in parks, and other things are in development that we'll hear about as the year goes on.
You see them down here? So yeah, here comes the school of salmon, pretty good size.
Seattle has regularly been described as the gateway to Alaska. In fact, when you head out the locks, those gates that take you from the fresh water to the salt water open up the world to you. Once they open up, you're free to go, and it is exhilarating. When you look at the locks that's having its 100th birthday, and you look at this beautiful fleet of wooden halibut schooners that have been fishing in Alaska for 100 years, and home port here in Seattle, you don't need to feel sorry for them. They're not old. They can live as long as we want them to, as long as we maintain them. That's the lesson we can learn. We've made it to 100, but that's just the first big buoy that we're passing, and there are many buoys ahead.